Hello. I'm sitting here. I just pulled up to pick up my daughter from work, but I was just kind of led to get on here, so we're going to see where we go here tonight. So, I was on the way down here, and I had a lot of things just kind of going through my head. I was looking at the sky. It was really pretty. They had some pretty orange clouds up in the sky with this light blue going on, and it was just so pretty, and I just had different things going on. Sorry, y'all. I'm holding my phone here. I just had different things going on in my mind, and everywhere from, there's two dead birds, on my route here, and they've been there for days, haven't been touched. So I know what kind of birds they are. They're birds of prey, and they don't get ate. And it made me think of, why does God tell us not to eat certain kinds of animals? What's the reasoning behind that? I was thinking about that, and then, then it got on, how come is it that churches say they fall under grace? I mean, if you look in the Bible, the children of Israel were under grace also, but they still had to follow what God told them to follow the law will build your faith. It's not going to necessarily get you into the kingdom or anything like that. That's one of the reasons Moses could not go into the promised land, because Joshua, when you look in the Hebrew, is almost exactly the same as Yeshua, the same letters meaning salvation. So Moses couldn't lead, because Moses was like representative of the law of God, saying the law cannot get you in the kingdom. The law helps you to build your faith, to understand love the way God puts it across. And I want y'all to know that, because sometimes I feel like it's one of those, in certain religions, you have your basic church, which goes straight off of salvation, and that's all you need to know. And, you have churches, I'm not saying they're all the same way, but you do have other churches that will dig in deeper and, try to get understanding of whatever not, and that's fine. But you have ones that'll say, nope, you're under grace, and, they'll just expound on that all the time. Jesus taught of his salvation, and that's what he taught of, or Peter or Paul or whoever it was. And I look at those things, and then I look at, you have the Jewish people who are just a branch out of Israel. They're not all tribes of Israel. They are specific tribes of Israel, and they are all about the laws. And you're looking at the laws, and people say, well, the Bible says that, you can't do all of them. Well, are you looking at them to see what you can do? But then I think, okay, well, Messianics are all about the law. Well, we need to look at it differently. We need to look at it, yes, you fall under grace, but you also need to think, God's setting them laws up for a kingdom, for his kingdom. Everybody's going to be in the same kingdom, and if we're going to be in the same kingdom, why is it only certain people have to follow the laws? But you're also going to fall under grace, because if you don't understand what's going on, if you don't understand the laws or why you need to follow the laws, I think there's a grace right there, because grace is favor. God favors each and every one of us, to the extent that he doesn't want us to perish. He wants us to follow him. And if you look at the way that Christ walked, now I'm not an expert in the way he walked or anything like that, so don't get me wrong. Don't if I say something wrong, please let me know. God followed Yeshua when he was here on earth, followed his Father's laws. He showed us how to walk in those laws. But he talked about love and the extent of the extent of love, if I'm not mistaken, like how much love is. Because they said, even if you look, there's a, let me see if I can turn a little bit here. It's getting dark here now. There's even a, one of the things in the New Testament, I don't know, I think it's in Matthew somewhere, and I can't think of it. I don't have my Bible on me right at the moment. But it says, on these two laws hang all the law and prophets, which is to love God with all your heart, soul, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. So all the laws hang on those two laws. And if you look at the word Torah in Hebrew, your numerical value is 611. And then you add those two laws in, 1, 2, gives you 613. Those laws hang on all those. The laws bring you into love. They bring you into faith. They bring you into a different understanding. You can't sit there and just be like, I'm going to follow the laws and that's all I'm going to do. I think it's more than that. I think there's an understanding in the laws that will bring you to a different level. But it can't be, I'm just going to follow the laws and that's all I'm going to do. I think you really need to understand what he is trying to say and do. They are there to help you to learn to love yourself, help you to learn to love your neighbor and love everyone around you. And so I think that's something that we need to look at and something we need to think about, because so many people pass it. So many people think, well, these were said over here in the New Testament, but this one wasn't. Or, well, he did them for us so we wouldn't have to. That makes no sense to me. Because if he did them for you, then he would have said, I came and I finished the laws. You no longer have to follow the laws. He said, I did not come to abolish the laws or the prophets, but I came to fulfill. And if you look in Matthew, in the first few books of the Bible, in the first few books, chapters of Matthew, I was reading this a little while back and it blew my mind because I never saw it before. He would go in and he says, I fulfilled where it said in this book. I fulfilled where it said in that book. I fulfilled where it said this in this book. That's what he's talking about when he says, I came to fulfill the laws and the prophets. He fulfilled and he pointed them out to you. This is what I fulfilled right here. So, I don't think the laws are done away with, but I think we need to look at them deeper than what people look at them at. I think we need to understand what they're trying to get at with it. It's all about love. I mean, if you really look at them, because we can't do the sacrificial right now because we don't have an altar. We can't do the Levitical because there's no temple. So you have your moral and your civil laws that are left. And those, I don't see where you cannot do those. I mean, don't tell me that, I can't, because I'm a woman, I have to follow the man's laws because it's a law. I'm sorry, that just, I can't follow something that doesn't apply to me. We have some crazy laws. I know every state, every place, every city and stuff have crazy laws. There's a law here in Georgia, and I don't know if it's all over, if it's in the specific county I'm in or not. I don't remember. But I read, y'all, this is really weird. I read that there is a law that states that you cannot tie a giraffe to a light pole. That's a law. That's still in effect, as far as I know. So, does that law apply to me? It does. But I don't own a giraffe, so therefore, to me, it doesn't apply to me. But that's kind of a that's one of them up in the airs. It's something I'm still thinking on and trying to understand. But you know, if a law is for a woman, a man cannot follow it. Just like, you know, men and women's bathrooms. Men go in men's bathrooms and women go in women's bathrooms. I mean, unless there's an absolute emergency. I mean, I completely get it. I've had to go in a men's bathroom before. But we pretty much stick to women go in women's bathroom and men go in men's bathroom. You know? And I think it kind of follows that, you know. These apply to these and this applies to this. You can't say one and expect the man to have a menstrual when he doesn't and not go to the temple because he's on a menstrual. He doesn't have that problem. So how's he going to follow that law? You know, I don't know all the laws off the top of my head, so I can't sit here and pick a lot out. That's one I know specifically. But I just wanted to come on here and say something. So y'all think about that before y'all do anything, and I just hope that y'all have a blessed night.